Hello and welcome to ETEducation presents the EdTech EdVantage Leadership Studio in collaboration with Google Cloud. My name is Shantheri and it's my pleasure to host this discussion. As education systems evolve to meet the demands of a rapidly changing digital economy, the ability to deliver personalized, scalable and outcome-driven learning experiences has become a defining priority for institutions and EdTech platforms alike. The EdTech EdVantage Leadership Studio Season 2 in collaboration with Google Cloud brings together industry pioneers and technology leaders to examine how AI, data and cloud infrastructure are reshaping the future of education delivery at scale. In today's learning landscape, scale is no longer just about reaching more learners. It is about delivering meaningful, adaptive and high-quality education experiences across diverse geographies, demographies and learner needs. From creator-led learning ecosystems and online teaching marketplaces to intelligent learning management systems and cloud-native education platforms, technology is enabling a new era of agile and learner-centric education models. This discussion will address emerging opportunities around creator economies, vernacular learning, lifelong skilling, and the evolving expectations of modern learners. More than a conversation on technology adoption, this leadership studio aims to decode how collaboration between EdTech innovators, cloud providers, and education stakeholders can shape resilient, intelligent, and scalable learner ecosystems. We have a power-packed panel. Rakesh Kalra, founder UrbanPro, Shankar Mahesh, founder Learnyst, Vaibhav Kumar Srivastava, Head Education and EdTech, Google Cloud, India and SAARC. Hello and welcome to all our panelists. Thank you so much for joining us. Vaibhav, thank you. Rakesh and Shankar, thank you so much for joining us. Shankar, I will start with you. I would like an opening insight from all the three of you, but I'll start with Shankar. Shankar, as digital learning continues to scale rapidly, learner expectations are naturally evolving. But what does this finally entail for delivery of education, for learning? So how does the ecosystem at the delivery level really get impacted?
10 years ago, learner expectation was accessibility. So how they can access the content, where, which region they have to go, learning material, how they can get, that was the main expectation. 5 years ago, it was convenience. So can I play the content on mobile or can I access through browser? That was the thing. Now, today the expectation is a learning outcome. So if a teacher gives a learning material, how can I achieve my results? That is the expectation. So now content is a commodity. It's available anywhere. The main thing learner value now is guidance, mentorship, community and personalization. So at the other end, teacher challenge is a good teacher can teach to 1,000 students. But at the same time, he can't mentor to 1,000 students. This is the gap where AI can bridge. It can bring teacher expertise to learner engagement. So this is where the expertise at scale, availability for student. This is the main expectation for learners.
Excellent. So Rakesh, would like to hear from you.
Sure. So there is a pre-COVID and post-COVID era. So pre-COVID, teachers wanted to teach online because they would then get students from anywhere in the world. But parents and students were not too keen. So a large segment that we cater to is one-on-one classes for academics, math and science. So that has evolved post-COVID. So there is more acceptance for online learning. So online as a delivery method is scaling well. The other phenomena that we see is that the new age parent is very involved in a child's learning process. Is no longer we have set up a tuition and it's no longer a problem for us. They're going for a tuition class. Now parent wants to know what's happening in a class. So it's an age of highly engaged parent, in the student's learning journey.
Excellent. Yeah, that's a very key shift. The parental involvement is very high and intense, and that impacts everything at the end of it, all decision making as well, right? So Vaibhav, you've had numerous conversations with industry, with customers. So how do you really see the education delivery getting impacted by the changes and shifts in learner expectations as well as digital learning?
So that's a great point, I think, what Shankar and Rakesh mentioned. But what we are also seeing is, the static versus dynamic content delivery, which means the learners don't want to have the content just in a static mode. They want to interact with the content. So there are a lot of use cases that we are looking at right now where while the student is learning a particular content in a particular format, it can be text, it can be audio, it can be video. They want to interact at the same time when they are learning, which means can there be a tutor along with it? Can there be a mentor along with it? Can we actually query the video itself that we are watching from the content? So the nature of the delivery of the content is moving from just being static, one kind of a content, to how do you interact in multiple ways with that content. So that's one of the shift we are seeing. Obviously, accessibility, demographic, division, the democratization of education is happening, which means I can be anywhere, but I can get the same delivery or the same experience of learning. That expectation continues and continues to grow. But the interaction with the content is something which we are seeing a lot of shift around.
Sure. So I'll stay with you for a bit. Now that we see AI getting increasingly integrated into learning platforms, so how does generative AI really change the whole narrative now in terms of how we look at personalization, we look at learning personalization, hyper-personalizing experiences and content delivery in general? What's your sense of it?
So AI is the core to this. The use case that I mentioned about dynamic content is actually powered by AI. What it means is that if I have a content in a particular format, for example, I am reading a PDF file on a particular subject, but I am a learner who would like to see and learn, right? Or I want to listen and learn. So can I convert that PDF into a podcast, for example? Can I convert that PDF into a video format and then maybe query the same video and take inputs or answers while I'm learning that content? So that is being powered by Gen AI. At the same time, we are also seeing the scalability part that comes into play, right? That on the fly, can you change the language? Can you change the subtitles? Can my tutor, an AI tutor, talk to me in my native language? So those are all nuances that are being powered by AI, and it comes to the core to the AI that everything that we are trying to deliver.
Absolutely. So Shankar, so you just spoke about how AI can really transform this whole narrative. Do you have any specific use cases where this has really transformed the way we look at content delivery and personalization?
Yes. See, at present, every learner can have a personal AI coach. Same way, teacher can have an assistant to create the content. So the whole transformation we think from 3 layers. Layer 1 is support. For student 24/7, he can ask his doubt and there is a doubt resolution possible in real time through AI. Number 2 is personalization. Say according to the learner strength, his goals and weaknesses, the learning plan can be aligned. So this is possible through AI. Then the third is mentorship. So teacher can create templates or similar to how he encourages the student or communicates student through AI templates, and then he can be with the student during their journey. So it will result in a better learning outcome.
Absolutely. So also the fact that the more personalized it gets, it also qualitatively enhances the pace and the intensity of learning, right? Excellent. So going forward, there would be more use cases, I presume, right? Great. So Rakesh, I am digressing a bit here. So UrbanPro has built like this large educator and learner, marketplace, right? A system, so to speak. So how do you really look at the sustainability of trust, quality and access when it comes to the learning marketplaces? So this is a very qualitative question, so I would like to know what you think about it.
So at UrbanPro, we took a different approach to solving the learning problem. So we solved it as a marketplace. So on one side, I'm just giving the background. On one side, we have tutors coming in, teaching multiple categories, academics being one of the largest ones. And on the other side, there are students coming, parents coming, looking for these tutors. Now, trust is a very important element that we have to take care of, and it takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. There are multiple trust factors that we show on the platform when we surface a tutor's profile to a parent. We show what kind of reviews and ratings other students and parents have left, and these are verified reviews. We also showcase not only the educational background of what the teacher has done, but also how many students have they taught on the platform, how many hours of classes they have conducted, and what is their overall rating. Beyond that, we also put an intro video that a parent can watch on a tutor's profile to understand the delivery style of a teacher. So, a collection of all these, creates a rich profile, which in turn then creates trust, with the parent.
Absolutely. So, do you also have testimonials otherwise which are also embedded into the platform?
Yeah. So, every teacher's profile has reviews from previous students that they have taught on the platform.
Excellent, excellent. So, just staying with you for a little bit, how does AI empower all this?
So, AI, not from trust perspective, but the three main areas that we're looking at AI. One is operational efficiency. So, we have automated a number of operational processes, and that has brought the cost of overall, the running the business down, which is essentially then gets passed to the consumer or the tutor. The other area we look at, as I said earlier, the parent, the new age parent is a very engaged parent, and they want to know what's happening in a class. So, all classes are live, so they are recorded. Pre-AI, we used to provide the recording to the parent could go through the recording. But now we summarize it as a nice AI summary, and that goes to the parent after the class, and it gives them exact insight into which topic was taught. Like they discuss Pythagoras theorem or a chemical reaction. So, parent exactly knows what topics are getting covered. So, this is on keeping the parent informed, and there is more work happening. We can discuss further on that. On the tutor side, we are looking at AI as an assistant, which is helping a teacher get better in delivering content, and also help understand where the student is lacking by assessments, so that feedback can come back to the teacher, and the teacher can teach the next class, taking care of wherever the weak areas are for a student.
Excellent. So, Shankar, we also know more and more educators and creators are moving online, and you're part of that ecosystem. This panel actually actively has an interest in that ecosystem. So, how do technology platforms powered by AI actually help to create scalable, sustainable digital businesses specifically meant for a growing ecosystem?
So, this space we see three areas where creators require help. One is in launching faster, second is supporting student better, third is selling more, means how can they sell more. So, in launching faster, see earlier without AI, the course material preparation would have taken days, even months, minimum 3 to 6 months to launch a good course. Now, if a subject matter expert, he has notes and PDFs and all, if he feeds into AI, it will generate a very good course dependent on learning outcome. So, now any subject matter expert can run an online education institute. Second is supporting. In support student, any education business which little bit also scales up, the major problem comes in supporting student, engaging student. So, AI here can moderate the community, can resolve doubts of student and provide valid inputs at right time. So, this is where the support means expansion wise it will help, or operation wise AI can help. Third is selling. Now, see earlier accessibility was okay, this student has access this many hours, this is the what he is studying, and targeting them for recommendation next course was not so easy. Our teachers used to target or all the products whatever they had. Due to AI analytics and insights, they can exactly recommend the course that student will study, read. Thereby both the learner also will be happy and the course teacher also will be happy to deliver. So, these are the three areas that a creator will require help to build and sustain the online education.
Right. So, one is the technology, one is the active engagement of the communities as well, the stakeholders as well. Perfect. So, Vaibhav, what role does cloud infrastructure help in this entire story, piecing the narrative together and help learning and EdTech platforms to actually scale in the manner that they should?
So cloud becomes the core. It becomes the base on which everything that they talked about runs, right? Whether it's AI, whether it's a compute, whether it's storage, whether it's content delivery, whether it's digital learning, whether it is translation, multilingual support, multimodal support, all of that actually is powered by cloud. But I think just picking up the point on trust that you earlier talked about, right? For them, their customers, they have to win their trust. For us, they are our customers, right? So for them, it's important that how is their data being stored? Is it being used? Is it being misused, right? So we at Google ensure that the data actually stays in their own tenants. It doesn't leave their own tenants, and they only use the technology and the AI to process the data which they have in their own tenant, right? So which means the privacy of data and the use of data is legitimate and where it should be, right? That's one piece. Second is we also ensure that whatever deliverables they are thinking about giving to their learners, their faculty, their parents, right, is also supported by AI. So Gemini comes to the core of all of this. It works in 3 ways. First, I talked about a student creating a mentor or a tutor or a platform that you want to talk about, which is anytime always an assistant to a student at any point of time in the 24 hours, right? Second is for the tutor or the facilitator or the faculty, if I have to say so, right? Can we help them automate their lesson plans? Can we dynamically change the way they want to deliver their lectures? Can we automate quiz generation, right? Or create plans in multiple formats that they are looking for in their own by a click of a button or maybe a small prompt that they type to the AI. So that piece is taken care of. Third, and ensuring that the EdTechs like them, their employees are equally productive. So Gemini Enterprise today actually can enhance their productivity to multifolds. For example, I will give my example. Today, first thing I open my laptop, I have got an AI mode in my Gmail, which means it clearly tells me the first thing that which are the mails I need to respond to, which are the tasks which I would have missed out, which are the unresponded mails where I have got an escalation. All of that is my first window. And I can automate that and I can maybe act on it also if I put some agents on top of it. So it takes away a lot of my mental bandwidth and makes me more productive to do the actual work which I'm supposed to do than to just figuring out how do I solve the tech piece of it. So that's where it all comes down to.
Absolutely. Prioritizing.
Yes.
And you brought up an interesting point on the responsible use of AI and data as well. So data brings me to the thing, Rakesh, I'll come to you. Vaibhav raised this point. So how does data, which is now very central to the, the way, it's the core of learning platforms. So how are we looking at using data responsibly while keeping our learner stakeholdership intact? So there is a movement of data, usage of data. So how are you looking at it and how does tech actually help to keep all of this in place?
So as we've been discussing and Shankar also mentioned, so for a learning platform, a learning outcome is the key deliverable. That's what a parent or a student is coming the platform for. In the past, when usually classes happen offline, there was very little insight that you could get from a class. The child has gone to an offline class or a center and the parent doesn't know what happened beyond what the child will tell, or maybe there will be some conversation with the tutor. But now, because the class is happening online, there is a lot of insight which is available, there is a lot of data. As I said earlier, there is data available on what was taught, so exactly what topics have been covered. So over time, as a platform, we understand the coverage of the syllabus, what has been covered, what has not been covered. As the students take test on a particular topic, we understand where the student is lacking in terms of where the gaps are, and a lot of this was not possible earlier without AI, right? And all this data is kept private to that student and only in that ecosystem, the student, the parent, the teacher. They know what's happening. Beyond that, nobody knows.
Absolutely. Great point. So, Shankar, coming to you. So, how do you really see, that data is playing a critical role? How have you looked at the responsible use of data while enhancing institutional decision making, improving learner outcomes and ensuring that all stakeholders are aligned?
So see, earlier data was important, everybody knew, but how to impactfully use that is possible only through AI. Now due to AI processing lot of data, there is always a question whether AI processes that data responsibly or not. But the whole thing how we view is AI is an augmented to whatever already privacy, security, reliability, everything, whatever was there, it just augments. It will not replace whatever already existing policies were there. So AI, see, a learner trusts teacher. Parents also trust teacher. Now teacher, all the data is processed by on our platform. From our platform, it resides in Google Cloud. So what about this data? That is the question. So how we view this as is, it's teacher plus AI. It's not that AI only will take decision, it will send something to distinguished student, it will send somebody some more information, other less information. No, the human means the teacher is at the middle. He needs to take the decision, because otherwise AI decisions will be very generalized. So keeping a teacher at the center, everything revolves around that. The only thing what is possible through AI is it's accessible. The decision can be more easily. So the capacity or the functionality available for big institute, now each individual teacher can have that. He can use the same decision making points which was available earlier with bigger institutes and which was not available for lower level teachers who have 1000 or 2000 students. So this is where the change is coming in. But AI augments, it doesn't replace. So that is what
so teacher at the center, so the human in the loop is still very critical, basically, right? Excellent. I'll just stay with you for a bit. So we do know the importance of all the languages in India, right? We are a diverse country. So do AI driven learning systems actually bridge the gaps that exist now between what we see as one language to the other? So how do you really see that, and can you give us some examples, please?
Sure. See, translation by itself is expensive. You don't know what language to translate. I am a teacher, I am teaching in Kannada, in Karnataka. I don't know whether I have access, means I will get student from Tamil Nadu or from North India. So it becomes an time consuming expensive service. So usually they don't try to get translated, because you have to involve other human or somebody to give that service. Then you have to check for verify it's done properly. This is one problem. Translation is expensive. Second thing is, localization is not there or context is not there. Whatever applicable happening in Karnataka may not be applicable to outside Karnataka. So these two things AI can bring it in. One is accessibility, second one is affordability. So it's no more a big decision to make. Okay, I will go outside Karnataka. It's no more a big decision. I can do it in few amount rather than spending a strategy on that. So that is what it changes. So a teacher who teaches very well in local language can reach out to other audience throughout the country. That is been enabled through AI.
Excellent. I think it's a fantastic point, given that earlier localization largely meant Indianizing a context. But now localization in the age of AI is also granulating it to a very local context specific to a state or a very specific region as well. So that's a great point. Rakesh, I'll move to you. Given the fact that now content is not just unidimensionally one language, how critical is it for the spurt or the growth of vernacular or regional language content for overall learner ecosystem growth?
Got it. So at UrbanPro, so we deliver one-on-one live classes, and we always supported vernacular languages because we have tutors from across India. If somebody wants to learn, say, spoken English and is in Tamil Nadu, they are connected with a teacher who teaches from Tamil to English. So local language is not an issue. So we similarly we have seen classes happen in Mumbai, where somebody is being taught an academic subject, say math, but Marathi is being used as the primary mode of communication. So we have been already supporting local languages, but through the human in the loop, which is already there. So in this aspect, AI doesn't change what we do. The human continues to provide the learning in the choice of language of the learner.
Excellent. So Vaibhav, your thoughts around this? You had spoken a little about it a little earlier. So if you could just elaborate a little more.
First, +1 to the human in the loop piece, right? Because what humans are doing can be replaced in a particular way by AI, but they can't just replace the human, right? For a human, the nature of job that they're doing may get redundant, but they are still required, right, to do different kind of things that they are doing. That's first. Second is just to add, I think vernacularity, we have spoken enough about it, so I know that we have covered them enough, but when you look at the, suppose there is a course running which has got 10 modules, right? Now what we can do with AI is that you can actually pinpoint the completion rate. Is the learner actually completing the entire course? If they are not completing it, is there a particular module where the drop rate is high, which means you need to fix, or something is not being absorbed by the learner in the particular way which you intended to, right? Third is, if there is a 15 minutes video, right? Is the video being dropped at say 10 minutes, or is there a repeat of 10 to 13 minutes by a learner many times? Which means these are insights which will give you that, okay, something either is not clear in that 3 minutes, or something is really digressing that somebody is not even continuing with that video, right? So these are the insights which were a kind of wish list few years back. Today it is possible. It is just possible like a plug and play, where you can just write a command, just put a plug and play into it, and you will get those insights on the fly. So as them as an EdTech, they get multifold insights from data analytics that they never used to get earlier, right? And these are the things that AI brings in. And Gemini has mastered that art, right? And we have been seeing this use cases coming time and again. That's one piece of it. Second is, I touched about the employee productivity, but lot of EdTechs today we see are having counselors to position courses, right? Or say a particular student needs which course should be positioned to them. So while, as I said, that continues to be a human job, and you can replace a bit with AI, but the efficacy of a human can be actually ascertained by using an AI, which means how effective is my counselor? Are they able to position the right course which they should have positioned, or they are positioning something else? So you can actually audit your calls much more than what you used to do earlier, right? I remember talking to one of the largest EdTechs in the country, and they used to say, we audit almost 2 to 3% of our calls, which are made by counselors. Today they have reached 80-85% efficacy there, right? So which means now they are able to audit a lot of more calls that they were doing earlier, and this becomes a huge productivity use case for their employees, which means now they know which employee to be taken care of, which is the top performer, who needs to be scaled up, who needs to be coached a bit more. All of that is possible through AI today.
Excellent. Yes. So Shankar, as Vaibhav was just saying, there's just so much happening, right? From a creator-led to micro-scaling to cohort-based education models, there's been just a major, set of trends that have, sort of transitioned or journeyed. Which are the emerging trends you think will be the most defining for innovation in the EdTech space?
I feel cohort-based learning is the, means we have seen, not feel, we have seen that cohort-based is the best way to learn. It combines the both offline and online aspect of it. See, during COVID, right, all recorded content, it picked up market like anything. So recorded content posted online, so student will stream it and understand the lesson. After COVID, people wanted to come out. So then physically moving around was the problem. So our teachers also, we also introduced a feature called batch, where live classes will be there weekly, 2 or 3. Recorded contents will also be combined with that on a calendar. So this one, enrollment saw a jump of around 5x. Then the engagement also was very good, means around out of 100, 60% of people used to complete the course. So cohort based feature is the best thing, that scales more and more, means with AI we can scale it even more.
Excellent. So your take is on the cohort based learning. Rakesh, what would be your take?
I think the personalized learning is going to scale very rapidly, because now that can be delivered at scale using AI. As I said earlier, we now understand what's happening in a class, and that is no longer hidden. That insight is available to the parent, to the student, to the teacher. Enables teacher to now customize the next class based on where the student is struggling. Keeps parent in the loop, which areas of the subject are is my kid struggling with, and even the whole delivery gets personalized to what the child needs or the student needs. And we also see AI as an assistant to the teacher. The teacher brings in, teacher is still very important from providing guidance, providing mentorship, bringing discipline to learning, but with AI as an assistant, the cost of the delivery will keep coming down and will become more and more personalized to each student.
Excellent. So Vaibhav, what would be your insight around this?
So we are seeing the whole movement moving towards agentic, right? A lot of agents being created, a lot of students, kids are getting adapted to it, which means it's no more a rocket science or something which is very complex to do. In fact, incidentally, because we also run the education, which is a classic institutional business, we recently, revamped our digital campus program, where now we are actually talking to universities to make them more agentic ready, which means we are trying to imbibe the agentic skills while the student is in the classroom, in the institute and learning their degrees or they're doing their undergrad, right? Which means we are trying to see if we can get those interventions done at the student level even before they reach the industry, which means the bridging that industry academia gap is also very important. So with all of these things happening, we are being surprised by the use cases which EdTechs like them come to us every day. And every time when we think, oh, this is a wow use case to solve, we get a wow use case to solve, maybe the next day. So I think it all also comes back to the human thinking, that how much can you think about where to use AI to solve for. And you need to pick your bets, right? Because AI can do 100 things, so multiple stuff for you, but you need to prioritize your own stuff, that where is your better use case or where you want to put that might of AI to solve first, and then maybe create a roadmap to take it forward. So at Google, we are very, very passionate about picking up those use cases which solving a particular learning or teaching problem for the institute or for an EdTech, and see how can we partner with them to enhance their own products, enhance their own apps for the betterment of the learners.
Excellent. So I will stay with you there. Now we know that EdTech as such, EdTech delivery as such is on scalable mode, and you just spoke about partnerships. So how will partnerships between technology providers and EdTechs, such as our panelists here, actually go on to become more sustainable, more powerful in the future? Your take.
So if we can influence their customers positively, I think that's where the partnership starts, right? There can be two ways to interact. One becomes a vendor customer, or they becoming our customers and they use our platform. Second is we go hand in hand with them and say, okay, tell us your problems and what we can solve for, right? We becomes a joint partner to solve a particular problem for their own customers. That's where the cohesiveness and the stickiness comes to play, and that's where the trust build come. Otherwise, there are multiple cloud providers which you can go and avail the services of, right? Where we differentiate is where we treat them as our own partners, and see that how can we enhance each other's business, because if they grow, we automatically grow, and that's the strategy or the mantra that we follow at Google.
Co-creation for innovation, basically. So Rakesh, how do you think partnerships between technology providers and EdTech players can actually sustain and grow for innovation?
Yeah, so see, for us, we are innovating to improve learning outcomes, because that is the ultimate deliverable. And it has three aspects to it. There is a trusted teacher who has to be found. There is an intelligent platform which is built on the cloud, right? We use Google Cloud there. And then there is responsible AI, which is where Gemini comes in. So I think together all of these three are critical. There are a trusted teacher, an intelligent platform, and responsible AI to create those enhanced learning outcomes.
Excellent. Shankar, what is the role of partnerships, strategic partnerships and co-creation for future sustenance, growth and innovation?
If you see, right, Learnyst is a application software developer. So we are based on completely on Google Cloud. So Google Cloud has to give us an API or flexibility to develop the application that we envision, or teacher requirement is there. That API support or the pricing, this is the most important aspect. In that aspect, we have got the best AI stack available, and we can make mistake or innovate. All these things is possible due to partnership. Otherwise, you go bet against something, it doesn't work, then the cost will mount and it becomes a stressful situation. We can't go and try out things. So that is not there. So we can, we run so many experiments, around 20 projects on AI we are running, small experiments every day. We'll be trying this, that and all. That is possible only support from the technology partner. Otherwise, it would not be possible. With this, we can push out whatever works, we can push out to market, and the impact we can see. So that is really great about the partnership.
Sure. So how do future engagements look like?
Future, it will be more on AI. Majorly AI, and we are seeing Google Gemini 3.5 has released Flash, so it gives more and more better results. So the stack keeps on updating. We are lagging behind. So that is that is good actually. Means it's not that we want to do something and we need to wait for the technology provider to provide. There is solution available already. Just it's from our side we need to update. If that situation, then we can go with more enthusiasm, and we can challenge the market. We can push more impactful feature to product market.
So on the AI front, we use a tool called Vertex AI, an API which is provided by Google, and I think that has worked excellently well. As Shankar also said, that by just integrating once, as new models are released by Google, we are able to plug in, just change the model, change the prompt, and see how the response becomes better. So doing this one-time integration with Vertex has been super helpful for us, because as model keeps evolving, our system keeps getting better.
Excellent. So great insights. I think this was a crisp, insightful conversation. So thank you so much, Shankar, Rakesh, and Vaibhav. So that was ETEducation presents the EdTech EdVantage Leadership Studio in collaboration with Google Cloud. Signing off from this episode, thank you so much for joining us.